This is going to be another gaming video. So I know this is not for everyone, so I promise that I will keep working on different kinds of videos in the future. And I wanted to do a little bit of showing what games I have for the PlayStation Portable, which are, I don't really have many physical discs, but I do have some digital games inside the PSP. And what I wanted to do is to show you the ones I have and then play a little bit of one of my favorite games for the PSP, which is Silent Hill Shattered Memories. And if you're not familiar with that title, it was released originally for the Wii, the Nintendo Wii, but it got ported to PlayStation 2 and PSP, so I'll talk a little bit about it later. So, the first game I have here is one of my favorites, and it's actually, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. It's actually a collection of very old titles. It has Pac-Man, it has Galaga, it has Dig Dug and Rally X, among many others. And this is the Namco Museum, which I really like. Games from the 80s and early 90s. Actually, I'm not sure if those are from the 80s, but I used to play these ones a lot when I was a kid, so it brings a lot of memories. And it does have a lot more. One of my favorite was Mappy too, as well. So whenever I see any of these retro collections, I get them. I try to get the physical discs. Just because it's nice to have them. I mentioned in the past that it's nice to be able to play these games using emulators, but of course it's always nice to play them in their original systems, or if it's a remix maybe, like these games with slightly better graphics. I also enjoy that. Sorry about that. So, I say this is one of my favorite PSP games. The next one I have is called SOCOM, US Navy SEALs Fire Team Bravo 3. Now, I'm not usually a fan of first-person shooters, but I did play this one because I just wanted to have one for the PSP. And I never finished it, but I enjoyed what I played. So, also one thing is that I got my PSP probably about a year ago, so it was already dated. And so these games are very, very cheap now. You can get some for as low as like $7. It's still a pretty good console, I think, and I've enjoyed it a lot. Now this one is Ace Combat Joint Assault. I play, or at least I used to play, flight simulators. I know this is not a flight simulator, but I used to play them on the PC, and I really enjoy them. So I thought that some kind of flying game like this would be nice. And luckily I did enjoy this one too. So it's a nice title, and I would recommend it. Now for the last physical game I have here is a racing game called Midnight Club LA Remix. And I haven't tried a lot of racing games for the PSP, but this one is by So I like this game because you can keep 2 games. But like I said, most of the games I have are digital. And this little game I have here, it's one that I'm playing currently. It's called Star Wars Battlefront. And I haven't finished it yet, but I was quite surprised that it was pretty enjoyable for a Star Wars game. There are so many of them, and a lot of them are pretty good, and some of them are not so much. But I like this one so far. And I'm not a Star Wars hardcore fan, but I do like the movie. So. Now this other game I have here is kind of funny. It's Madden 12, American football. And the reason why I got this game is because I am from Argentina and we play soccer there. We call it football, but if you say football here, everybody thinks American football. And I got this game because I wanted to understand how it works, how American football works. Because I always thought it was kind of like rugby, and I know, kind of ignorant, but I wanted to give it a try. And with the help of some friends explaining me, but I never got the hang of it. So it's kind of here, and yeah, I haven't played it a lot more. I guess I did once in a while, but I don't know. I can't get into it. I did my best trying to understand American football, but I failed miserably. So I have here the PSP, and I'm gonna remove it from this case. You can actually play from this case, but I find it a little uncomfortable. I just like holding the PSP by itself, so I'm going to get this out of the way. So here it is. It's a little PSP. I don't know how old this console is. I can't remember what year it came out, but it has so many titles right now that it's a really nice console. Because I mean, if you don't have one, and maybe you thought of having one right now, I know there's the PS Vita, but it doesn't have so many titles right now. At least there's none that I want to play really bad. And this is, of course, they don't. I don't know that they manufacture this specific version of the PSP. I think the PSP Go is the current one, which is all digital. It doesn't have this disc tray, which I really like. Even though, like I said, I don't like carrying a lot of this game was supposed to be a remake, or that's how they advertise it a little bit, a remake of Silent Hill 1. But it's not quite a remake. It's more of a, let's grab characters from Silent Hill 1 and maybe mix it up a little bit with Silent Hill 2 and 3 and make a new game out of it. So, I'm gonna delete my current profile here. And I'm going to create a new one. I'm gonna go. And I'm gonna drink some water if you don't mind. So, the game starts a little bit like the same way the first game starts, where Harry Mason is on a car with his daughter Cheryl, and they go on a trip, and the car crashes. But then the game also starts with a therapist that you go see. And that part is kind of interesting because the game will change according to how this therapist evaluates you. So you can give him different answers to his questionnaires, or you can even paint some drawings, and the whole game will change quite a bit. So the game also has a lot of replay value that way. You actually run into the same characters, but they look different and they behave different according to what you answer. The environments will look different, and the monsters will look different as well. And talking about the monsters, one thing that I was skeptical about this game when I heard of it is the fact that you can't fight the monsters. You don't have any weapons. You don't have any guns, like in most, well, all of Silent Hill games. So I was kind of worried about that, but it's actually a lot of fun. Let's see if I can turn the volume up a little bit, just a tiny bit. It's fun because it makes the game very scary not to be able to defend yourself, and basically what you have to do is escape them. And those moments in the game are rather accelerating, because you have to escape really fast and you have to pick away a path, and you can either go wrong and get caught, or maybe start in the beginning, or just escape. So it's a kind of interesting mechanic how that works. Then most of the game is puzzle solving and exploration. The puzzles are not really that hard to figure out. The answer is usually right next to the area where you're at. So I think it's a very cool game. The ending is quite shocking. Of course, like I said, it has nothing to do with the first Silent Hill. They grab the characters, but the story is rather different. And I was shocked when I saw the ending in a good way. I really liked it. And the fact that you have this whole therapy thing. So we see here that Harry just crashed the car. And Cheryl is obviously not there. So this is pretty similar to the original. monster, you close it and you go away. If the coast is clear, you just go. Oh, and I like this so you can look behind, because when you're being chased by monsters, it's very important to look behind to see how close they are. Oh, this is kind of nice. I'm gonna turn the volume up. If you've ever played Heavy Rain, you know when you're at the mall and you can call Jason all the time. You can do the same here with Cheryl. Which is a little funny. Kind of became like a meme. The Jason scene where you can just yell and yell. And of course, there's bathrooms here, as with every Silent Hill. There's a little bit of a pornographic drawing there. We have no one at the bathroom. There's no creepy monsters or anything. Just perverted advertising for women, I guess. wasn't as creepy as Silent Hill 1, but I thought the story was pretty well done. With Mary and Maria, and they kind of mix that a little bit here too, because Harry Mason's wife, you sometimes see her and she's like a normal housewife, and some other times she's a little slutty. So I there's just a ton of